When we originally tuned this antenna, it hadn't been subjected to high water yet. Now that it is, it's kind of, well, it's a different shape than when we put it in. So now, it's not in tune. And it's not ridiculously out of tune, but it's not as in tune as it could be. It could be better. We want to get optimal performance, so I'm going to try to tune it up again. But there's just me here. Usually it's a two-person job. So when we have two people tuning, one person's out here. This is a tuning box. There are some places for jumpers down here, and then there's a fine tuner, which is a variable inductor. The jumpers control how much capacitance is in the circuit. And so one person will be out here on the radio, the other person will be back at the box with the tuning indicator and maybe an oscilloscope, looking at the waveform, trying to get it in tune, trying to get the little LED to go to the OK light, while communicating that to the person who's actually doing the adjustments out here. And it's a pretty clunky procedure, and it's kind of clunky that it also requires two people. I'm going to try to do it all by myself with an oscilloscope. So I've got the scope here, and you see the waveform there. And I'll put it on run, and you can see it jumping around. But what I want to do is adjust the tuner here. I've already looked at the indicator back in the box and found that it said it was quote unquote out unquote. And so I know which way to go. And I can look and see how well I'm doing. I'll try to get that waveform as tall as I can. That's basically all there is to it. You know, if everything goes well. I'll press hold so you can, anyway, there's my waveform. I'm zoomed way out of the waveform. If I zoomed further in, I could see the actual sinusoidal shape of it. Here I'm just looking at the whole thing. I want to see the amplitude and just go from that. So I'm looking at a relatively large time scale here. All right, so here goes. Turn the scope back on. I'm going to start by just fiddling with the fine tuner, see whether that has. So, haven't checked to see when the battery ran out on the camera exactly, but on the, my phone. So, mixed success. I was able to use the oscilloscope to assist in tuning, to actually do the tuning. Okay, back up. I was trying to tune the antenna at the antenna itself using the oscilloscope, and the amplitude of the waveform on the antenna as the means for doing that tuning, that is, trying to get the amplitude as high as I can. I was able to get the amplitude greater than when I started out. However, I wasn't able to get it as large as we had it previously. I essentially ran into a gap in the settings on that particular tuner that didn't really allow me to quite reach the peak in the... I don't think I quite was able to reach the resonance peak in the antenna circuit. Nevertheless, when I did get back to the box, the reader box, and plugged in the tuning indicator, it did indicate that the tuning was okay. So I guess mission accomplished. I was tempted to, or I almost went about swapping out the tuner. So we have a different sort of tuner that has some settings in the range that I was trying desperately to reach with the tuner that's currently installed. And you know, the different type of tuner is in the reader box. But I figured, well, let me just check to see whether the tuning indicator now says that it is in tune. It also checked the voltage on the terminals at the reader. So, you know, there is some attenuation in the voltage at the, you know, between the voltage at the reader, which was about 500, 505, 510, something like that, volts peak to peak. Whereas out at the antenna itself, the amplitude was 460 volts peak to peak. So there is some attenuation there. So that voltage at the reader is comparable to the voltage on the other two antennas. The current being drawn now by the antenna that I was trying to tune, that is antenna 1, which is what I was tuning today, it had been drawing a current of about 1.4 amps. Now it's up to 2.1 amps, which is, and the other antennas are in that 2.1, 2.2 amp current draw configuration, I guess. So yeah, at least, you know, mission sort of accomplished. Maybe we can do better, but it's kind of running out of time. You know, it's 4:20 now, and I'm just getting back into town. I have to be somewhere at 5. You know, I probably would have made myself late had I tried to swap out the tuners. It's kind of a pain in the butt to get the various wires in the right spots and fastened down and all that. So, whatever. At least it seems that I've improved it. So, and also sort of done the proof of concept that it is possible to tune the antennas with one person with the oscilloscope at the tuner box. So, that's cool. That's good. I'm out at Oak Creek at night, New Year's Eve 2018, and I just replaced the tuner on antenna 1. I was able to get quite a bit higher, well, significantly higher peak-to-peak voltage on the antenna. Went from, I think it was 515 peak-to-peak, volts peak-to-peak before I replaced the tuner, and with the larger tuner it's about 560 volts peak-to-peak. We'll see what it is in the box. It'll be a bit higher at the reader. Anyway, yep, here we are, nighttime at Oak Creek. Antenna's looking pretty good. All right, signing off.